Right now, somewhere in your head, there's a comment from years ago you still remember word for word. A compliment from the same week? Gone. That's not a memory problem. That's your brain working exactly as designed. 10 good things happen to you today. One bad thing happens too. Tonight, guess which one you'll replay before falling asleep. Psychologists call it the negativity bias. It's not a flaw. It's one of the oldest survival tools you own. And by the end of this, you'll never experience a bad day the same way again. Picture an early human standing at the edge of a forest. 10 times, nothing happens. The 11th time, there's a predator in the grass. The 9 safe walks? Forgotten by dinner. That one moment of danger? Burned into memory for life, because a brain that shrugged off danger didn't get a second chance to learn from it. So evolution built you a mind that grabs onto threats, insults, and losses harder than it grabs onto anything good. And it's not subtle, it's measurable. Psychologists gave it a name decades ago. Bad is stronger than good. Across hundreds of studies on memory, relationships, and money, the pattern never changes. Losses hurt more than gains feel good. Insults stick longer than compliments. Failures get replayed more than wins. Here's a version you've probably felt yourself. Find $20 on the sidewalk, you're happy for maybe an hour. Lose $20 from your wallet, you're annoyed for the whole day. Same amount, completely different weight. Economists call that loss aversion, and it's just the negativity bias wearing a different name. Your brain isn't logical about good and bad. It's counting bad twice. There's a reason it's built this way, and it's sitting right behind your eyes. Deep in your brain is a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Its entire job is threat detection, and it doesn't wait for permission. Brain scans show it lights up faster and stronger for a threatening face than a friendly one, before you've even consciously recognized what you saw. Your rational brain is still loading the page. Your amygdala already hit the alarm. This same wiring quietly runs your own inner voice, and almost nobody notices it happening. Say 10 things go right in your day and 1 thing goes wrong. That one mistake is usually what you replay while brushing your teeth at night, turning it over, adding details that weren't even there. Psychologists call this rumination, and it's the negativity bias playing on a loop with no one else in the room. You wouldn't say the words you say to yourself to a friend who made the same mistake. But the ancient alarm doesn't care about fairness. It just wants your attention, and it knows exactly how to keep it. You see this exact pattern online every single day. A post gets 100 kind comments and 1 cruel one. Which comment do you keep thinking about at 2 a.m.? News outlets have known this for decades. A shocking headline outperforms a hopeful one almost every time. Not because people prefer bad news, but because the brain physically can't look away from it. Even your own memory does this without asking permission. Ask someone about their last vacation, and the one delayed flight often gets more airtime than the 6 good days around it. It shows up at work too. Give someone 10 pieces of positive feedback and 1 piece of criticism in the same review, and watch which one keeps them up that night. Managers who've never heard of this bias still feel its effects. One bad comment can undo months of good performance in someone's own head, even when the numbers say otherwise. It shows up in relationships even harder. Relationship researchers studying married couples found something specific. It takes roughly 5 positive interactions to outweigh the emotional damage of 1 negative one. 5 to 1. Couples who fall below that ratio are far more likely to break up. Not because the good moments stopped happening, but because they stopped being enough to cover the damage. That's not pessimism. That's biology keeping score against you, whether you like it or not. Here's the part most people never realize. This isn't just about remembering bad moments harder. Your brain scans for them constantly, quietly, in the background, all day, every day, looking for the next threat before it happens. Which means the version of your life you remember is never the whole truth. It's a highlight reel edited by fear, and fear is not an honest editor. Today, the threats it's scanning for aren't predators anymore. They're a harsh email, an awkward silence, a stranger's passing frown. None of them can actually hurt you. Your brain still reacts like they can, because the wiring never got the memo that the forest is gone. Here's something that gives this whole story a way out. The bias isn't fixed for life. Studies on older adults have found something researchers didn't expect. Attention to negative information tends to soften with age, while attention to positive information holds steady or even grows. The wiring isn't permanent code. It's more like a setting that can shift with attention and practice, which means you don't have to wait until you're 70 to start moving it. Here's the part worth sitting with. Once you know the bias exists, you can catch it in the act. That's ancient wiring doing its job a little too well, running code written for a world that mostly doesn't exist anymore. You don't have to trust every alarm your brain sets off. You just have to know where the alarm comes from. There's a simple habit that pushes back against something 5,000 generations in the making. Some researchers who study this bias recommend deliberately holding on to good moments longer than feels natural, actually pausing on them for a few seconds instead of letting them slide by the way your brain wants them to. It feels almost silly at first, forcing yourself to notice a good moment on purpose. But that's the point. Nothing about your wiring was ever going to do it for you. When something bad hits harder than it should, don't push the feeling away either. Just ask one question. Is this actually dangerous, or is this just an old alarm going off out of habit? Most of the time, naming it is enough to loosen its grip. Your ancestors needed a mind built to remember danger more than comfort. They didn't have the luxury of asking why the feeling was so strong. You do. So next time one bad moment tries to erase a good week, remember, you're not weak for feeling it so hard. You're carrying a brain built for a world that would have killed you for looking away. You get to be the first generation that knows why it does this and chooses not to be ruled by it.